Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Sukhova, and today I will be presenting on Sari Dienes through the lens of psychology. I chose psychology as my lens because psychology helps explain how people notice things from memories, connect emotions to objects, and create meaning from everyday experiences. I think Sari Dienes' artwork connects to all of these ideas in a very strong way. I chose Sari Deans because her art makes people stop and pay attention to things they would normally ignore. She uses sidewalks, gravestones, textures, and found objects and turns them into art. This stood out to me because psychology is about how the mind works. It helps explain how people focus on certain things, ignore others, and connect emotions and memories to what they see. I like that Dean's art is not only about what an object looks like, but also about how it feels and what it makes people think about. Sari Deans was a Hungarian born American artist who had a long and experimental career. She worked in many forms, including drawing, sculpture, assemblage, and rubbing. She was known for trying unusual materials and for exploring new ways of making art. Instead of only using traditional methods, she looked at the world around her and used real surfaces and found objects as part of her creative process. This made her work original and helped her stand out as an important artist. Sari Deans is considered an important artist because her work is included in major museums such as the Museum of Modern Art, or MoMA, and the Whitney Museum of American Art. This shows that her work has been respected by the art world and continues to matter today. She is recognized for helping expand the definition of art by using everyday materials, urban surfaces, and experimental techniques in ways that were very creative and influential. Her work has also been shown in important museum exhibitions, which proves that her art is still relevant. Museums continue to display and study her work because of the way she changed how people think about materials, process, and everyday objects. This is important because it shows that her artwork still speaks to modern audiences. Even though some of her work was made many years ago, the ideas behind it still connect to issues and emotions that people understand today. One of Sari Dean's most important techniques was rubbing, also called frottage. She would place paper on fabric like material over a real surface and rub over it with ink or another medium to capture the texture underneath. She used surfaces such as sidewalks, manhole covers, subway grates, and gravestones. She also used found objects in her work. This process is important because she was not just inventing an image from her imagination. She was taking direct impressions from the real world and turning them into art. This connects strongly to psychology because it shows how something physical and ordinary can become emotional and meaningful once a person really looks at it. One important example of her work in Soho is Soho Sidewalk. This piece was made from the texture of a real sidewalk. What makes this artwork interesting is that it takes something very ordinary that people walk over every day and turns it into the main focus. Instead of seeing a sidewalk as background, Deans makes us stop and look closely at it, its patterns, lines, and textures. She shows that even an everyday surface can become visually powerful when people are encouraged to notice it. This artwork connects to psychology through perception and attention. Most people do not notice the sidewalk beneath them because the brain filters out things it sees as unimportant, but Sari Deans changes that. She makes the viewer slow down and pay attention to details that are usually ignored. The work also connects to memory and human presence. A sidewalk holds the marks of daily life, movement, and experience. From that, it feels like more than just a surface. It becomes something that carries traces of people and the world they live in. To add, another important work is Tome. This piece feels more emotional and serious than Soho Sidewalk. It is based on surface of a gravestone and includes additional materials which gives it a layered and mysterious appearance. The work does not feel polished or complete. Instead, it feels fragment-like and haunting, which makes it emotionally powerful. This artwork connects to psychology through memory loss, grief, and the unconscious mind. What makes this work powerful is that it does not give us a perfect or complete image. Instead, it feels like a trace left behind. This is important because memory often works in the same way. People do not always remember things clearly or completely. Some memories come in pieces, especially emotional ones. From this, tone feels personal and emotional. It shows how an object can carry meaning that goes far beyond what it physically is. Through this work, Deans turns a real surface into something that feels connected to emotion, remembrance, and human experience. Sari Dean's creative process connects strongly to psychology because she takes real surfaces and objects and transforms them into emotional experiences. Her work shows that people do not simply see objects in a neutral way. The mind adds memory, feeling, interpretation, and association. Her materials are simple, but the meanings they create are deep. This is what makes her work so powerful. She proves that ordinary things can become meaningful when people truly pay attention to them. In that way, her creative process reflects how the human mind works. This lens still matters in 2026 because psychology is very relevant to current life. Today, many people talk about mental health, attention, stress, emotional overload, and feeling disconnected from the world around them. What I find most meaningful about Sari Dienes is that she shows how powerful ordinary things can be. She proves that art does not always have to come from something dramatic or obviously beautiful. It can come from surfaces, objects, and traces that people normally overlook. Discussion question number 1. When Dienes turns a sidewalk or gravestone into art, is she changing the object itself or changing the way our minds interpret it? Number 2. Why do ordinary textures and objects sometimes feel more emotionally powerful than polished images? Thank you so much.